Hi again. I had a few people send me some messages just wondering what kind of car I drive since I do a lot of the sim racing. Here's my weekend car. I sometimes do track days with it. It's a 1986 Porsche 928S. It's the Strosek Edition. There were about 50 made. The difference is this has a wide body kit on it, so it looks different from a stock 928S. As you can tell, it's got the hideaway headlights that pop up instead of the traditional 928 headlights that are exposed and then they flip up forward. This has a 5-liter V8 dual cam 32 valve motor. It's got a 5-speed with a limited slip differential. Strosek was a customizer, sort of like Umbala and how AMG used to be for Mercedes back in the 80s. It's a pretty quick car. I use it for track days. I don't race it because I don't do wheel to wheel, but for track days it's a lot of fun. It's got the full leather interior. It's called can red leather. The dash, the headliner, everything else is all covered with hand stitched leather. What's nice about the 928S is it's a very comfortable car. It's more of a grand touring car than it is a sports car, I guess you'd say. It was created to replace the 911 at one time. That's what they were planning on having it do, because back then Porsche was worried about the smog and noise regulations and stuff. So they were looking to create a sports car that would meet all the requirements. Fortunately, the 911, of course, didn't go away. It's still with us today. It's kind of funny that the 911 is actually now more like a 928 than ever. And what I mean by that is there are still some sports models like the GT3 and, of course, the Turbo and those models, but the regular 911 is more of a grand touring car than it is a pure sports car now. These cars, the top speed on them, I think in 1987 this similar model did about 172, which made it the fastest production car in America at that time. This one, because it has a wide body, I think it kind of would probably mess up the aerodynamics a little. So this probably would top out at only like 163, 165 miles an hour, if that. I've never had it much over 150 on the track. I just haven't been on a track that has enough room for me to really get up to top end. But yeah, it's if you guys get a chance, there's a lot of nice 928s out there. They're pretty inexpensive. If you could wrench on it yourself, you could save a lot of money, because there are like quite a few places that will supply parts for them, like 928s R Us, 928 International, and there's a few others. This other car is my daily driver. It's a W204 Mercedes. I use this for, like I said, everyday driving. It's an autocross. I just recently installed adjustable Coney shocks, lowering springs, all new bushings, sway bars. I put on strut braces front and rear. But for doing autocross, it's a lot of fun. And redid a few things. I had to put a regular rear spoiler on. I mean a wing type instead of just the lip type, because at higher speeds when I was braking, the back end was getting a little light. So this is an adjustable camber. I can adjust the angle depending on how much downforce I want. The interior I redid in black and red. Pretty much, other than that, it's stock as far as the interior goes. The motor, I've done an intake. I've done ECU flash. I've added a throttle booster, which speeds up the drive-by-wire time. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I definitely recommend, if you can find a 928S, definitely pick one up. You can get them for anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 depending on condition. They made about 60,000 of them over almost 20-year period of building them. Only about 30,000 came to the US. A lot of those have over the years, of course, been wrecked or just been abused and haven't been taken care of. So if you decide you're going to find one, there's a few things. Just make sure the timing belt, water pump has been done. Make sure that all the fuel lines have been done. But they're pretty reliable. They're fast. Here, I'll start this up. I can't drive it since of course, I've got my phone in my hand, but make sure it's in neutral. It's got headers. It's got a 3-inch exhaust coming all the way back. Pretty healthy sounding. It sounds like a NASCAR going down the street, is what everybody tells me. A lot of people think it's a 944 when they see it because of the shape. But as soon as they hear the engine, they realize that's no 4-cylinder. It's not supercharged or anything, but it gets up and goes. I'll try to get a video. I'll have one of my kids ride with me and they can shoot it. I'll try to get a video of what it sounds like in motion. Have a good one. Thanks.